Hello and welcome back to Epic Myths Unveiled. Today we'll explore the myth of Medusa. A unique figure in Greek mythology, was one of the three Gorgon sisters, known for her snake-covered head and petrifying gaze. Unlike her immortal sisters, Medusa was not immortal herself. Greek mythology offers two different tales explaining her origins, both ultimately leading to her unfortunate demise. Let's explore these stories to unravel the mystery behind the creature with the serpent crown that turned gazers to stone. This is Medusa Unveiled. But before we go to Medusa, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see even more myths being unveiled. Now, fast forward. Who is Medusa? Medusa, named after the ancient Greek word for guardian, belonged to a trio of monstrous sisters known as the Gorgons. Born to the sea gods Perseus and Ceto, Medusa, along with her siblings like the Graea, Echidna, and Ladon, inherited a monstrous nature. Despite not being inherently monstrous herself, fate dealt Medusa a cruel hand, transforming her into the most dreadful of her siblings. In the artistic depictions that followed her transformation, Medusa shared characteristics with her older Gorgon sisters Euryale and Athena. Her hands took on a bronze hue and golden wings adorned her back. Poets described her with boar-like tusks, a protruding tongue between her fanged teeth, and a head crowned with writhing snakes instead of hair. Her countenance was so terrifying and her gaze so intense that the mere sight of her could turn a man into stone. What did she look like? Medusa, the intriguing character from Greek mythology, eludes a precise description due to the varied narratives and artistic interpretations that surround her. As a mythical being, there isn't a definitive true depiction of Medusa, as her appearance and even her mystical abilities undergo alterations across different stories and artistic representations. Ancient Greek artists portrayed Medusa in diverse ways, adding to the ambiguity of her appearance. Some depicted her with an enchanting human countenance and hair transformed into serpents, while others chose to depict her as a monstrous creature with a reptilian body. This multiplicity of representations underscores the richness and flexibility of mythology. Interestingly, the color green often intertwines with Medusa's character in various interpretations. Many paintings illustrate her snake hair in vibrant shades of green, symbolizing an otherworldly and eerie quality. This association with the color green extends even into contemporary portrayals in film adaptations of ancient Greek legends. In modern cinema, Medusa is frequently envisioned wearing green attire, perhaps as a nod to her mythical origins and the enduring influence of these ancient tales. Where did Medusa come from? Medusa's origin is a fascinating tale rooted in ancient Greek mythology. According to one version of the story, she is the daughter of Perseus and Ceto, who are both sea gods. In this account, Medusa is one of three sisters known as the Gorgons. Like her siblings, she possessed monstrous wings and had snakes for hair. However, conflicting myths exist regarding Medusa's parentage. Hyginus, an ancient author, suggests a different lineage, proposing that Medusa is the offspring of Gorgon and Ceto. As Greek mythology often features multiple versions of the same story, these variations add layers of intrigue to her story. In a later rendition of the myth, Medusa's backstory undergoes a significant transformation. Instead of being born with serpentine locks, she starts as a beautiful mortal woman. This version introduces a twist involving the goddess Athena and the sea god Poseidon. According to this adaptation, Medusa draws Athena's ire due to a romantic entanglement with Poseidon. In response, Athena punishes her by transforming her once lustrous hair into a tangle of venomous snakes. Additionally, Medusa is cursed to turn anyone she gazes upon into stone. What and why did this happen to her? In one version of the Medusa myth, she starts off as a really pretty young woman with amazing curls in her hair. She's so attractive that a lot of guys are interested in her. One day, while she's praying at Athena's temple, the sea god Poseidon notices her and, well, some people say he forces himself on her, while others say it was more like he charmed her into a romantic encounter. Either way, it happens in the temple, and that really ticks off Athena. Athena, who's all about war and stuff, gets super angry that her temple got messed up. Instead of blaming Poseidon, she decides to take it out on Medusa. It's interesting because some stories say Athena isn't always supportive of other women. She might be like the early version of those older women in fairy tales who get all jealous. To get back at Medusa, Athena does something pretty harsh. She takes away the thing Medusa values the most, her gorgeous hair. This part of the story is kinda like what happens to Rapunzel in later fairy tales. You know, where Rapunzel gets punished for falling in love with the prince and they cut off her hair. It's like these myths have this recurring theme of punishing women by taking away their beautiful hair. But Athena didn't stop there. She cursed Medusa further, ensuring that she would forever be condemned to a life of loneliness. To achieve this, Athena bestowed upon her a gaze so powerful it could turn anyone who looked into her eyes into stone instantly. This gaze, the original death stare, has become a legendary weapon, passed down through generations of women. Over time, its potency may have diminished, but its aura of fear remains, as the narrator reveals through a personal anecdote about their own mother possessing such a formidable glare. Medusa, despite being burdened with these dangerous powers, never wished to harm mortals. In an effort to protect others from her deadly gaze, she withdrew to the solitude of a dark cave. Unfortunately, the isolation she sought was short-lived. The knowledge that she possessed the power to harm, even though she had no intention of doing so, haunted her. Men, curious and perhaps seeking glory, sought her out. Eventually, Perseus, the son of Zeus, discovered her hiding place and, taking advantage of her vulnerability in sleep, beheaded her. How did she die? These Gorgon sisters are described as having snakes on their head, wings on their backs, and large mouths with lolling tongues, painting a picture of formidable creatures. The details of whether the sisters were immune to Medusa's deadly gaze, possibly possessing similar powers themselves, or if they were shielded by the darkness of their cave dwelling, remain shrouded in mystery. In the ancient story, Medusa meets her end at the hand of Perseus, a brave Greek hero. This tale begins with King Polydectes of Seriphus ordering Perseus to fetch Medusa's head. The gods lend Perseus a helping hand by gifting him special items: a mirrored shield from Athena, winged sandals from Hermes, an invisibility cap from Hades, and a sword from Hephaestus. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, gives Perseus a shiny shield that acts like a mirror. With this shield, Perseus can look at Medusa's reflection without turning to stone himself. Hermes, the messenger of the gods, provides Perseus with winged sandals, making him swift and agile. Hades, the ruler of the underworld, lends Perseus an invisibility cap, allowing him to move unseen. And Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths and craftsmen, crafts a sharp sword for Perseus to use in battle. Armed with these gifts, Perseus sets out on his perilous journey. Using the mirrored shield, he manages to face Medusa and slay her, cutting off her head. From her lifeless body, two creatures are born: Pegasus, a winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant warrior. But the story doesn't end there. Even after her death, Medusa's head retains its power to turn living beings to stone. Perseus cleverly uses this to his advantage, using the head as a weapon in various adventures, including saving Princess Andromeda from a sea monster. Surprisingly, we discover that Perseus inflicts more harm with Medusa's head after her death than Medusa did during her entire life. Strangely, despite the destructive aftermath, Perseus is celebrated as a hero, while Medusa is forever branded as a monstrous figure, instilling fear and disdain. Perseus fulfills his mission, turning the wicked King Polydectes to stone with Medusa's head. He then presents the head to Athena, who places it on her shield as a symbol of victory. Medusa in Greek art. Medusa is a well-known character in Greek art. She's easily recognizable due to her unique depiction. Artists from ancient Greece often portrayed her with a human face that's starkly contrasted with a tangle of snakes serving as her hair. This distinctive representation can be observed in various art forms, such as paintings, drawings, carvings, and even on ancient Greek pottery and architecture. The visage of Medusa frequently adorned bronze cups from ancient Greece, and her image wasn't confined to just drinkware. Earrings, pendants, and rings also featured her formidable head. It's believed that the ancient Greeks employed the image of Medusa as a means to ward off evil forces. The rationale behind this belief was that the depiction of such a fearsome creature would serve as a deterrent against other malevolent entities. The manifestation of Medusa, especially her head and face, evolved into a popular decorative motif known as the Gorgonian in various Greek art forms. During the Archaic period, spanning from 700 to 480 BC, numerous temples were constructed, adorned with Gorgonian depictions of Medusa as a monstrous figure. These representations often portrayed her with a colossal mouth, a beard, sharp teeth, and menacing eyes, emphasizing her terrifying nature. As time progressed, later depictions of Medusa adopted a more human and feminine appearance. While her face was often depicted as beautiful, it carried a confrontational and almost malevolent expression. The snakes that composed her hair were frequently illustrated as writhing and hissing, adding an element of danger and intensity to her portrayal. Did the ancient Greeks believe in Medusa? The ancient Greeks considered their myths as more than just stories. They believed these tales held real-life truths. Medusa, a mythical figure, was thought to be an actual being. The enduring popularity of the Medusa myth is evident in the continued retelling of related stories, such as the belief that her blood created the corals in the Red Sea and that the vipers in the Sahara were once a part of her. These legends showcase the cultural significance and widespread acceptance of Medusa as a real entity in ancient Greek society. In contemporary times, we understand that Medusa was not a real monster. Despite this realization, her myth remains one of the most well-known examples of ancient Greek storytelling. Beyond the fantastical nature of the tale, Medusa's impact on culture and art is profound. Poets, craftsmen, and architects drew inspiration from her, making Medusa a pivotal character in Greek mythology. Despite her mythical origins, the enduring legacy of Medusa continues to influence and captivate the imagination, illustrating the enduring power of ancient stories in shaping cultural narratives. Was Medusa Greek or Roman? Medusas come from old stories in Greece, but she's also a big deal in ancient Roman tales. The name Medusa actually comes from the Roman version of the story. The Romans had their own take on Medusa, telling a story about a girl who used to be really pretty but got turned into a scary monster because of a curse. The Romans had a knack for creating their own version of things. They gave Medusa a whole new story. Imagine this. There was a time when she was just a beautiful girl, but something bad happened and she turned into a monster. That's how the Romans said it, and that version has stuck around. So whether you're hearing about her in Greek or Roman tales, Medusa's story is a mix of beauty and the beast. Why is Medusa important in the modern day? In today's world, Medusa is seen as a powerful but dangerous woman in stories and art. People think of her as beautiful yet frightening, like a monster with a woman's body. She's been turned into a symbol of sexiness, and some people even see her as a prize to be won in a romantic conquest. But this image of Medusa ignores who she really was before the hero Perseus came along. Medusa was strong, but she didn't use her strength to get what she wanted. She didn't want power or revenge. All she wanted was to be left alone. She didn't care about being famous or rich, but men kept coming after her, hoping to gain something from her. She never hurt anyone on purpose, and she stayed hidden away in the dark, trying to protect others. Even though she suffered violence and unfair treatment, she still showed kindness to those around her. The story of Medusa teaches us about the dangers of judging someone based on appearances. People focus on her terrifying ability to turn people into stone with her gaze, but they forget that she didn't choose to have this power. She was cursed by the gods, and she struggled to live with it. Despite the hardships she faced, Medusa didn't become bitter and cruel. Instead, she showed compassion and empathy to those who needed it. Her story reminds us to look beyond the surface and see humanity in everyone, even those who seem scary or different. Thank you for joining us as we explored Medusa's origins, her transformation into a Gorgon, and the heroic tale of Perseus. The myth's enduring significance lies in its exploration of beauty, punishment, and heroism. Medusa's presence persists in art, literature, and modern culture, symbolizing female empowerment. Her story continues to captivate, prompting us to reflect on its impact. What are your thoughts on Medusa's tale? Share in the comments, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating mythological insights.